Today we're doing peas and pasta in the wind, so hopefully all my ingredients will stay with me and not end up over that way someplace. I've already got some whole grain pasta or whole wheat pasta or multi-grain pasta, whichever you want. It called for a pound, but most of the boxes of that no longer come in a pound. It's the shrinking of America, so it was 13.25 ounces and I went with that. This has been cooking for about 7 minutes. Full cooking would be 9 minutes. So now I'm going to add some peas to it so they cook in the same pot at the same time. And we keep a pan without having to clean a separate one because of that. So that's going to cook 2 minutes. Now while that finishes up, you could use either fresh peas, frozen peas, whichever is going to be more convenient for you. And while that's working, I'm going to go ahead and get the sauce ready. I've got a cup of part skim ricotta cheese, and I used a little bit of salt in the water there. I wanted to get some into the pasta, but I didn't use a lot, maybe a teaspoon as opposed to a tablespoon or more that some people will use. Also got 1/4 of a cup of shredded Parmesan cheese, and because of the wind, I'm trying to preserve my chopped parsley. I've got 1/4 of a cup of chopped parsley that we've been trying to keep in one place, and 2 teaspoons of lemon zest, which is about what you'd get off 1 lemon, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I'm using a coarse salt here, and again I've got the same problem with my pepper, so it's inside 2 containers to keep it corralled. 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. This is going to be the topping on our recipe. We're just going to stir these together, and then we're going to set them aside and wait for the pasta to finish cooking. When the timer goes off on the pasta, I'm going to drain it well. First I'm going to take off 1/2 cup of the pasta water, then I'm going to drain it well, and we'll get started on the next stage. So this is going to sit here, and we've got a couple more minutes on that one. All right, our pasta and peas are drained, or peas and pasta. I've got 2 teaspoons of olive oil in this case because I want a lot of flavor from it. A lot of times I use a canola oil, which has a more neutral taste, but I want a lot of flavor coming out of this, so I'm using a good olive oil. Now, when your pan gets hot, and you should be able to see it start to shimmer when that takes place, go ahead and put your tomatoes in. It's not quite where I want it to be. I think I'm going to go ahead and put them in anyway. We're going to cook our tomatoes in the olive oil. It's just tomatoes and olive oil, and that's about 2 cups of grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes. And just cook them in that oil until they start to burst open, and that may take anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes. Kind of depends on how hot your pan is. You can see that these are already starting to cook a little bit. You can see the color change on them. You need to keep them moving around a little bit so that all the sides start to turn orange. And when that happens, we're ready to move on to the next step. This part reminds me of cooking cranberries, in that they actually will pop when the skin bursts open. All right, I've got the pasta and the peas. We're going to slide that into our pan. And I'm going to turn the pan off so it doesn't keep cooking too much. Stir that around just a little bit, and I'm going to stir in. Remember I told you I was going to save 1/2 cup of pasta water? I'm going to stir that in at this point as well. And that's just going to help make a little bit of a sauce because we've got the starch from the pasta there. All right, that looks like it's about ready. We'll serve up some here. This is a great way to have a quick meal. It really doesn't take much longer time than simply cooking the pasta and getting it ready to go, because the peas cook at the same time as the pasta. The tomatoes just take a few minutes to cook, and it allows you to use peas either fresh from your garden or that you've preserved. I'm going to put a dollop of this mixture we have here, and when people come to eat, they can stir that around and make a sauce with the cheese, and it is really, really great. I hope you'll try this one. It's quick, it's flavorful, and it's got lots of color. This is Peas and Pasta for Oklahoma Gardening. I'm Barbara Brown.